I love this.
Did you sleep out here?
No, I thought about it. I thought about it. We were out here last night just chilling, and then you left, and then I sat out here for another hour just enjoying it. So it was nice. This was really fun for me.
This is special. So Gilly, listen, we're here to talk about rodeo results and the update that's coming, but there's some things I'm sure people want to know. There's a lot of people that don't know what rodeo results is. So why don't you tell them real quick what that is, especially in the Western sports industry.
So to put it simply, it is a software platform, but the actual definition of what it is it's a SaaS product. SaaS, SaaS, and it stands for software as a service. So essentially it's a software platform, and there's two kind of channels for it. There's a web platform, or essentially a website where producers go and use, and that is for the producer software. And then there's the mobile app that the riders use, and they both work together synergistically. And synergistically meaning one cannot work without the other. They need each other. So that's what it is for context.
And I know you've been with Rodeo Results a while, and we'll get into some of that and who you are with Rodeo Results. But I think the main thing we need to talk about is this update that you call OMNi that's coming to Rodeo Results. So what have you done with that, and why are you coming out with this update?
So there are a lot of different reasons why we're coming out with it. There's a lot of reasons why it's significant and important. But if I had to choose one specific thing that will apply to everybody, producers, riders, spectators, it's data. And very specifically data that is not disjointed. And what I mean by that is currently the way the industry operates is you have registries off over here, you have databases off over here, event software, events over there, and then everything else is scattered amongst that. And what we've done is we've built our own in-house registry, our own in-house database, and our own software, and we've combined them together on one platform. And the reason why that's so important is it allows us to track data and metrics more efficiently than anyone else, or even some metrics that no one else can track. For example, we can track how many times a horse has to run before it places in the money. And on top of that, we're also tracking the average check that it wins. So to kind of play out an example, let's say you have a horse that has to run 2 times before it wins money, and its average check is $1,000. That means every 2 times that it runs, it's pulling on average a $1,000 check. That's
impressive.
Yeah, is that a 1D horse, or is that a 1D horse?
And well, it's going to tell the true story for sure.
That's why it's so important. It will tell you so much more about a horse's journey and value than its lifetime earnings alone ever will. And it's going to be extremely exciting to see how that plays out and unfolds as people start getting their heads wrapped around it and start adopting the platform. So I'm eager to see what happens in that aspect.
Well, it's almost like new and emerging technology. And so why has the Western sports industry struggled to get to this point? Why has it taken so long? It seems a little behind in the industry as far as technology goes.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's many reasons why. I'm going to try and keep it as simplistic as possible. Right now, everyone that is in the industry creating software or trying to utilize technology, they're taking technology and they're trying to make it adapt and work for the old ways of an industry. What we're doing at Rodeo Results is the exact opposite. We're taking technology and completely reimagining the industry with technology as the foundation. And that's really where the whole concept of being a breath of fresh air for the industry came from. Like, being a part of that process has been extremely exhilarating. When you go and you watch a producer use the software for the first time, that breath of fresh air is literally something you can see happening inside them. Like, when they see how simplistic and refined we've made everything, that just relief, like, there's nothing like it. And for me, on just a personal note, with so much time, with all the time that we've invested, it's really nice to see that feeling that I've been trying to build within the software come to fruition in other people. So and then that also too just gets passed down to the riders and the spectators. It's just a big ripple effect. So it's really cool to see that happening.
Well, how did you come up with this vision or this idea of putting a platform together, pulling a registry, pulling the producer tools, the user experience? Where did that idea come from?
So specifically with OMNi, or is it more?
Yeah. You have been involved in Rodeo Results for a while, and take us through that. What you did to get to the OMNi point, and then where's it going to go from there?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. Like, it is and it isn't. So a lot of it was you make me think of a blender. No, for real. Like, so much goes into it and just gets all just like mixed. But if I had to get specific to OMNi, it was actually, I think what really pushed me over the fence was Uncle Frank. I had a call with Uncle Frank, and I told him, I was just thinking out loud with him, and then he said something that just kind of like, it was something I didn't see before, and the way he said something made me see it, and then the light bulb just came on, and I was just like, we have to do this. At first, I was approaching whether or not to make our own registry and database. I was really cautious about it, but then there was something that he said, I don't even remember what he said, that just made it click. I was like, it's not whether or not should we have to. It made it very clear that we had to. And that's when I decided to pull the trigger on OMNi. We had been debating it for months.
You were debating it because it's challenging, right? Technology?
Yes, that was part of it. That was one sliver of it. There's also the aspect of it. It's very different. It centralizes everything. And that idea and the effects of that, we kind of know and can somewhat predict what will happen, but at the same time, it's new. That's never been done before. And to do that it takes a lot. No one can just up and do that. And that's where we recognize we're in a very good spot. We're in a very unique spot. And
So when you say it takes a lot, it's taken a lot of effort and work with Rodeo Results. So are you a coder?
no.
I mean, what is your role? Exactly, how do you make this all happen?
I think in the micro day-to-day, I'm a designer. I look at tasks and what do you call it? I look at tasks and I visualize them on a screen. Or I look at features and I visualize them on a screen. What do they look at? Or what does it need to look like? Blah, 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 blah. In the macro, what do you call it? I would say, I don't like saying it, but I think it is technically what I am. I'm the visionary. I see where it's going, and I know, like, I'm good at seeing the dots, like 3 or 5 dots ahead. And if, one connects, where's it gonna go? It's not always completely accurate at times, but it's enough to make impact.
So once you launch your update, OMNi, with all of these components coming together, what are you going to do after that? How are you going to reimagine that? Where does it go from there?
So I have two answers. One answer is what we're reimagining now, and then the other answer is kind of what's next. We have spent the majority of our talent on the Rodeo Results Registry, and we think this is something that is going to be very big, and the reason why is because we're completely reimagining, quite literally, what it means to register a horse. Very specifically, our registry has a completely different value system. What we offer is the opportunity for every rider and horse to be seen. And by registering a horse into the Rodeo Results Registry and then participating with producers that are using the software, the platform itself will track career stats across the lifetime of a horse and rider, and then will be free to access on the mobile app for live viewing. And that's the first answer. Second answer, what's next? I think, again, micro, it's going to be the sire and dam profiles on the mobile app. That's not going to be included in OMNi. That's going to be included in a later update. I think macro, you know, I'll probably regret saying this. The only thing, I kind of look at it as pillars. Registries, databases, software, DNA. That's really the only one left. And it's
DNA.
DNA. That's the only one left. We're figuring that one out.
So who's your mama, who's your daddy?
Yep, we're figuring that one out. What I can say is we've done a lot of education. Yeah, can I actually touch on that? Our research and development, or like research like muscle to like understand things, to go and educate ourselves, that's probably our biggest strength. We are very visceral, and we interrogate that a lot. And we've done a lot of research on the DNA process, what resources are out there, A&M, UC Davis, you name it. We think we can make it a lot better.
So is research one of the challenges you face as far as time? I mean, that's what takes time.
Yeah, that's a great question. That is probably the most we put our time into. And that's actually that's a great question. We put more time into researching and interrogating why we're building what we're building and how it works versus building it. We focus more on the blueprint than we do the actual code.
Because you want it to work.
Well, yeah, but why the deeper layer of that onion is important. Why you're doing what you're doing is essential. Like if you're doing something just because someone's told you to and that you should, that's not a good reason. That's a surface layer reason. You have to dig deeper on it. Like, what about it? Why is it valuable? You'd be shocked on how people will give you feedback, but then you ask them, well, what about that is important? And they can't answer it. You'd be shocked. You would be blown away. And that's why we interrogate. That's what I mean. We ask questions, and a lot of them. And we get down. It's funny, we're just talking about it. It's like we've gotten down to the DNA of the industry, if you think about it. Like, what are the core components of it? Why are they important? And what does that look like in a digital environment or a technology environment, right, with software? What does that look like? What does that picture look like? And that's what we have been really sitting on and imagining in our mind. And it's been fun. There's no rules to this game. It's been so fun. And it's also been scary. We don't know if this is gonna work. Like, we don't know. So
Hey, well, we'll see. Do you feel like because you put so much time into those blueprints and effort, do you think that's part of what makes Rodeo Results different from some of the entities out there in the industry that have either not grown or come and gone, or basically, do you see Rodeo Results as being a tech giant in the Western industry?
So first answer, I think we're different because we simply want to build a phenomenal product. This is just my opinion. This is little Gilly Boy's lens outside, inside looking out in the world. We've studied as many software competitors as we can to truly understand. And in my opinion, they're just trying to make a quick buck. And you can tell through the software. Now, part of that may not just, maybe they aren't as educated or experienced with software management or development. And that's, hey, fair enough. I'll shut up. But when you go and you look at them, you can tell there has not been a lot of thought put into the product. We are product focused. We want to build a phenomenal product to where when it sits in front of you, again, going back to the relief, like it will, we got a review once. I want to give a shout out to one of the producers, Autumn Lucas. She gave a review. She texted me one time and she said, dude, she was asking me questions like a lot. And they were very simple questions. I was like, is everything okay? And she responded back, she's like, yeah, I just didn't think it would be this easy. It feels like something's wrong. And I don't know where she's located, but that's what I'm talking about. It's so simplistic, it literally makes you feel like something is wrong.
So, at this moment, what would you say to competitors and racers and producers in this industry as to why they should jump on board with Rodeo Results?
So this might be another somewhat controversial statement. Again, this is just my opinion.
Well, let me interrupt you. Your opinion, keep that thought. What would you say to all of these entities in the industry? But your opinion comes from where? What's your background? It's a valid opinion, I'm sure, because of your experience.
So, yeah, I mean...
and that may be something you want to...
We need to let the horses out. That would be dope.
Talk about earlier, but...
what do you call it? So, yeah, I grew up in the industry, sister barrel races.
I mean, there's a reason why you have opinions,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just want to validate that.
That's a good point. Thanks for touching on that. That'll create... thank you. So, yeah, Sarah, she's my sister. She's barrel raced ever since she was like 12, I think, or probably actually younger than that. I don't remember.
Did you ever race?
I did. I did at a point until it was one of those things where
You went and played football.
Well, no, I didn't. Dude, if you're telling me 1,000th of a second is going to keep me from winning money, that really would piss me off. That would piss me off. And that's that competitive side. It's just like, it's kind of almost down to luck. Well, not really, but kind of, right?
So there's a valid reason for your opinions. You know the industry.
I think it's more important that well, no, I can't say that either. I know the industry and technology. There's not, and see, that's something me and Michael, my original business partner, he found me and he was like, Gilly, we have to find another one like you. And in the beginning, I was like, heck yeah, I was optimistic, let's go. Fast forward 5 years later, we have not found someone. And that's, I think, the weight of that is really what kind of has woken me up a little bit in a different way than before. I'm taking everything more seriously. I've taken things more seriously in the past year than I ever have before. And it's not in a intensity way, it's in a gravitational pull way. It's like gravity's inside me and I'm like, I feel the weight of it. I feel the weight of my decisions. And That's why I've practiced a lot of restraint in the past year. You know me, I'm not a patient person at all.
No.
And
not.
we literally just went to dinner like a week ago, and I was losing my shit. I was losing it, and not in a bad way, but in a way that was just like the pressure and the stress, and just like the amount of time that we've spent on this project, even the amount of time of setting this up, right? It's the effort that has gone into what we're doing has been, I think, more than people can possibly realize unless they see it. And it's starting to tax me a little bit. It's starting to tax everybody. We're tired. We're ready to be done.
Tired but happy.
Yes,
Well, I wanted your audience and people that might be on the fence about rodeo results to understand where your opinions come from, and that there's valid reasons for those opinions because of your experiences. So, on that note, what would you say to people who are considering using rodeo results or have questions, or to just the industry in general about technology and where we need to go and where you're going to take them?
Okay, so I think I have three answers there. First answer is, and again, my opinion, controversial. Some people may not like it. If you don't, that's okay. I respect it. When you go and you look at all the organizations, all the entities in this industry, it's hard. In my opinion, it doesn't feel like they're truly servicing people. Like, for example, Rodeo Results, we're independent. We're not an organization. We're not a sanctioning body. We don't use producers. We serve them. There's a very big difference. And that's what I would say for the first answer, is that we're in a position of service. Our position is to listen, right? Not tell you what to do. Second answer is, technology is the closest thing humans have to magic. And it's taken me 4 years. To this day, I'm still peeling back layers of how open that creative world is. And I think that's another thing, is that I'm more of a creative at heart. I'm more of an artist. And that's something I've kind of come in to see in myself that I didn't see before early, and it's kind of weird. There's a third question in there, I think.
Well, what do you
Where will it
want
go?
to say? Yeah, where are you going to go? Where are you going to take the technology, and why should people come along?
Technology has the ability to scale this industry. That's why. And when I mean scale, I mean it will exponentially scale. And I don't think people realize that. But in order for that to happen, you have to have a centralized place for it to happen. And I think what's really cool, and again, touching on technology, is that doesn't mean the industry has to change. Nothing's necessarily going to change. And that's one of the thoughts. Are they running around? I love that. See? That's so cool. I'm getting distracted. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so technology can scale exponentially, but that does not mean things have to change. And that is what I am most proud of with this update, is we put a tremendous amount of thought in how can we create innovative tools without sacrificing traditions of the industry. How do we do that? That has been the hardest part. It has been the most visceral part. There have been a handful of times where we literally had to say, we've got in arguments over Slack. We've gotten it to where I was like, listen, time out. Let's just take a break. And I didn't know how long that break would go. Sometimes it lasted a week. And we just completely just forgot about what we were doing. And then eventually I got bored and was like, hey, and we just started again. And we went through that cycle so many times. And I actually want to give a big shout out to you. Again, you know me. I'm very particular.
Extremely.
I have high standards. And it's mainly more in myself than it is other people. We have absolutely phenomenal talent working, or we've had a handful of talented people contribute to this project. And I think people will be taken back by our work. I 100,000% believe that we have done the best we possibly could, and we have done everything we possibly can up to this moment. I don't think there's anything else we can truly do right now. We just need to launch it. And to be honest, we're ready to. We're sick of working on this. We're sick of it. Like, we love and hate it. I don't know how to explain that.
Well, you'll take a break until the next project of maybe reimagining DNA.
So we're gonna see if it takes flight. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll figure out where we're going next when we see the effects.
So Gilly, if a competitor, racer, producer, interested person wants to know more and they want to talk to Rodeo Results, what do they do? Who do they call?
Just go to the website. We've completely redesigned the website, and I can say this. I myself alone completely redesigned the website to make it more better. I didn't like it before. So we revamped it. I would go to the website. There's more than enough information on there.
And what's the website?
rodeoresults.com. And if you are a producer, make sure you go on a laptop or a desktop. The mobile version of our website is just bare bone. I got lazy. So producers go to the website. If you're a writer, go to the mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. That's for you. And going back to the producer side real quick, if a producer wants to try the software, it's free to try for your first event. Oh, Lord. It's all good. Go on.
He just wants to be a star.
He peed on my backpack.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more from you in the future, right?
Yeah, so, okay, producers, it's free to try online. You get your first event free. And I literally thought of this yesterday, and I called you about it. I'm debating whether or not to have a free version throughout that just doesn't have all the fancy whistles on it. I'm debating it. I'm not sure on it. Again, it's one of those things where we weigh things. So that'll be a big decision, but that was something I was thinking about yesterday. So don't quote me on it. I don't know, but I just thinking out loud.
Constantly reevaluate.
Yeah, yes, we are constant on that. It's an ongoing and endless process. And that's something that people don't realize.
And just kind of off the top of your head, how many producers do you have using the software
I think right now only 26.
Okay.
I like that you touched on that. So Rodeo Results, I'm not paying myself through Rodeo Results. All the money is going into the development work. And 26 has gotten us to a place where Rodeo Results is paying for itself.
And is that 26, is that a variety of producers?
Yeah,
it's not just barrel racing producers.
It's mainly barrel racing producers. We do have one rodeo production. I'm going to give them a shout out. It's Canton Trail Riders, I believe. It's a youth rodeo organization, if I'm not mistaken.
But you have a lot of associations using it, private producers.
All sorts. We have organizations, we have private. I think one organization that is doing well with it is STBRA, Central Texas Barrel Racing Association. They renewed, so that's awesome. And
well, I know I can speak for myself as a producer. What I love is that it's flexible, it's easy. A producer can use it in the way that they need to use it.
I think,
but
yeah.
all of the competitors can follow everybody.
I think
so
that
in a way
is.
we're all
Can we
connected.
actually kind of go down that rabbit hole real quick?
Yeah.
So the way the software is designed is to be open-ended. And what I mean by that is a producer can make a change at any time, at any point in their process, whether it's from the beginning and they haven't even opened entries yet, or they're building their draw, or they're calculating their payout and they just want to change something, or maybe they have a correction they need to make. It's highly flexible, and that's what I mean by open-ended. And with it being that way, the way it is designed shifts the way you think about the software. Where other competitors, I feel like it really fixes the way they think, like, oh, I have to do this in order to do this. It does the opposite. It completely just opens the idea like, oh, I can think about this differently. I don't know if that makes sense, but
So
it's,
there's not one standard.
yeah, there's not one, you
way.
don't,
A
there's not
producer
one
has a lot of
specific way.
flexibility.
Like a producer can do anything they want at any time they want, the way they want to.
That's pretty phenomenal,
That
Gilly.
it's dope. It is the coolest. It's been so fun. I have a love and hate relationship with this stuff. Like
Well.
it's extremely agonizing at times, but there's moments like these where you talk about it, and in, like, I'm thinking about all the stuff that we've done and the thought we've put into it. And like there also are the times, you know, I mentioned how we've gotten into arguments over Slack or text messages. There's also those times where we're like, you're a badass. Holy shit, you built that? Like, or, you know, they'll be doing their little coding and they'll be like, hey, I had this cool idea, check this out. Then they show me and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Right? It's so fun. The creative process is so fun. But it's also, it's like a barrel racer. They're very bipolar. Like, it's like,
I don't know if they'd agree with that. So, and kind of wrapping things up, what's a Gillyism? What would you say in a one-liner?
in a one-liner, this is actually what has helped me get through the whole impatience and the whole restraint part. Good work admires good work.
Well said.
Just
So we'll see you down the road.
done. Done.